Hey, Jill here with another episode of Cooking with a Side of Murder. I did the first one a couple months ago and covered JonBenet Ramsey. This one's going to be a little shorter because watching that one I realized how bad it was with doing prep time. So there's going to be a lot less prep time in this one, and I'm making something simple just because I kind of want to focus on what the subject of this video is. And honestly, I've hesitated doing a second one of these because after I posted the first one, it seems like with the pandemic and everything, it seems like the world went to shit anyways. But it was right around the time that George Floyd was murdered. And it's a lot. And I'm an empath, so I feel things a little bit more differently. So I've been taking the time to kind of reflect on that and see, as myself, as a white person, white privilege is fucking real. Don't let anybody tell you it's not. I don't have the same fears that someone of a darker skin tone does. Do I fear walking alone at night? As a woman, yes. Even with my big dog, it's still kind of scary. Do I fear I'm going to get murdered anytime I get pulled over? No, I fear I'm going to get a ticket. So I can't relate to what people of African American culture are going through right now. But I'm with you and I feel it. Because it's a lot, and if you actually sit down and look into how many people have been murdered by police that are supposed to protect them, you're supposed to serve and protect you, it blows your mind. So I've been trying to educate myself and focus on that so that I can be an ally to you guys, more than I guess I was before, because it's a scary world. So like I said, I hesitated even doing one of these because why should I do something talking about murder when people are actually getting murdered every day, and no one's doing anything about it, and it feels like at this point it's just kind of a routine fucking thing. I hate to say that, but it feels like every day. So I'm gonna do this one because this one has, ever since I heard about it, it keeps me awake at night. So I'm going to talk about the murder of Breonna Taylor. I've changed the way I'm going to do things. I'm also going to do a blog post with these, with references of where I got everything and what I'm cooking and all that fun stuff. So, I've got a post already started for this one. I'm going to go back and do one for JonBenet Ramsey as well that I'm working on. But I wanted to cover this one because there's so much to it, and I can't wrap my head around it. And like I said, it keeps me up at night because, we'll talk about it. So, first off, I just want to go into a little bit of background on Breonna. She was 26, lived in Louisville, Kentucky, in an apartment. She was an EMT. She was getting ready to go back to school to start a nursing degree because she wanted to do things. Everything I've heard is she had some goals set. Like most women at 26, you want to be out of debt. You want to be in a healthy relationship. You want to start a family. You want to do something with your life that's meaningful. She had those kind of goals. And unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to do those on March. And I'm checking because I don't want to get anything wrong. I've got a whole thing already topped up. And I'm awful on cheating. So on March 13th, it was a little after midnight, maybe 1 in the morning. Also, I'm making tacos. Turkey tacos. I wanted to do something simple. Actually, this is all I had in the house. That was it. Because I don't leave the house. But I wanted to do something simple that didn't require a lot because I want to focus on the main point of this, and that is Breonna. So, a little after midnight, maybe 1 in the morning, on March 13th of this year, this is only a few months ago, 3 plainclothes officers, there may have been more, I'm focusing on the main 3, I think there might have been 2 more there outside, but I'm going to focus on the main 3, 3 plainclothes officers, Jonathan Matley, Brett Hankins, and Miles Cosgrove, were executing a no-knock search warrant, which basically means they can just bust into your house and don't have to knock. Which, you know, is fine, whatever. I don't understand why they were doing it at midnight, when that's something you could have done in the middle of the day. I don't know why it could have been done at midnight. So they did this, and which awoken Breonna and her boyfriend, whose name slips me right now. What is the boyfriend's name? Kenneth Walker. So they heard something banging at the door. There are several accounts of this, where the police are saying, no, we knocked. We knocked on the door. We announced ourselves. Whereas neighbors said all they heard was the battering ram hitting the door is what awoke them, which is what woke Kenneth and Breonna up. So they go to make their way down the hallway to see what exactly is going on. And as they're at the end of the hallway, the door is busted open, and Kenneth, who is licensed to carry, he has a permit to carry a handgun, does what anybody would do. If someone's breaking into your house at like 1 in the morning, you're gonna shoot, especially if you're saying, because before Kenneth's account is, as they heard someone knocking on the door, both him and Breonna go, "Who is it?" screaming with no answer. So as anybody, if someone's knocking on your door and you say, "Who is it?" and they bust in the door, if you have a gun, 9 times out of 10, you're going to shoot, because at that point you're fearing for your life. I'm browning the turkey burger right now, and then I'm going to drain it from the oil. Turkey burger doesn't have as much grease as normal burger does, but it's got a fair amount. So anyways, they shoot as soon as the door's open. He shoots once. He did shoot Officer Matley in the leg. After that, the officers that are there shoot over 20 rounds. 8 which hit Breonna, who laid in the hallway. This was something that recently came out for 20 minutes. They didn't call an ambulance. They didn't try to resuscitate her. They didn't try to do any of that stuff. She laid in the hallway for 20 minutes and died. They arrested Kenneth for, attempted murder of a police officer, which I kind of get. Because he did shoot a cop, but you also busted into their apartment at almost 1 o'clock in the morning. So, whatever. Those charges have been dropped now. So, the whole reason that they did this is because Breonna's ex-boyfriend, something Glover, had apparently, they'd been watching him for sale of controlled substances. So they had, the warrant had been issued because they believed that he was having packages delivered to Breonna's house and was picking them up, which they said apparently in January they saw him leave her apartment with a package. Which I kind of understand, but as someone who gets a lot of packages, you know how easy Amazon is to have something delivered? So it could have really been anything. And it could also be made up at this point, because I think they're trying to cover their asses. But, so, and I've heard some conflicting informations, like they were at the wrong house, that her ex-boyfriend was actually in custody at the time of the murder, or that he was picked up 2 hours later after the murder. Regardless of any of that, the fact is they broke into this woman's home at almost 1 o'clock in the morning and murdered her. So there's some conflicting things going on. The search warrant they had was a no knock order. Means they don't have to knock when they come in, like I've already said. With that, I've read accounts that it was illegal, that it wasn't actually a legitimate one. It wasn't approved. That the judge who signed them also signed 4 other ones and did it in a period of 12 minutes. Regardless of that, a young woman is dead. And she was 26. She just had her 27th birthday. And it sinks in, thinking how precious life is. I just celebrated my 32nd birthday. And it hit me hard because I was like, you know who doesn't get to celebrate their 32nd birthday? Breonna Taylor. I need something to drain this. So I'm going to get a coffee cup because that's usually what works best. I have this weird Christmas SpongeBob one. There's a lot of things with this. The most important one is they shot her 8 times. They shot over 20 times, shot her 8 times. There were some accounts that she was in bed when they shot her. Her boyfriend says they were in the hall. I'm going to believe the boyfriend because he was actually there. One of the most damning things is the police report from the incident is almost blank. There's nothing to it. They said, oh, there were no injuries, even though one of the officers was shot and a woman is dead. There were no injuries or anything like that. Essentially, these officers said, hey, no, we definitely tried to knock. They didn't, because the neighbors, like I said, the neighbors didn't hear them. I'm spilling grease everywhere. We're going to have a grease fire. So, this will be the end of me. And one of the officers, I don't remember which one it was, admitted that he blindly shot into the apartment. There are photos of the bullets just kind of around. You know, that it was a lot of damage done, but I don't think it was executed correctly, because there could have been other ways to go about this. Only one of them has been fired, and that's Hankins. Was fired. No one has been arrested yet. The other 3 were just moved to other things. But it makes you think, at what point should someone be held accountable? So they busted into their place, whether it was lawful or not. Especially if someone's saying, hey, who is it? Why would you not say, hey, it's the police? We're here for this. Because, honestly, they seem like upstanding citizens. They were probably like, oh, okay, fine, come in. You have a warrant? Anybody knows that. If cops have a warrant and they're at your house, there's really nothing you can do. If you don't let them in, they're going to arrest you. Simple as that. But no one is taking any accountability for this. Even like the mayor is like, it was just an unfortunate accident. It was a terrible tragedy. So there have been protests. The one good thing to come out of this was that they did ban no knock warrants, and created Breonna's law. That still doesn't bring her justice because she's still dead. At a certain point, I can understand that there's a fine line, and I'm not saying that all cops are bad. They're not. There are some cops out there who give good cops a bad name. And I think these 3 gentlemen are. Listen, I completely understand, self-defense, what have you, but why shoot 20 times when you got shot once? Like, I would never do that. And I've heard people literally say, oh, well, if I would have got shot once, I'd have, unloaded my gun. Why? Why? Especially if you can wound them and then whatever. Like, why? Why would you want to murder someone? I'm using generic taco seasoning, by the way, because these are like 25 cents. And it just, I don't know, there's no justice for it. There are protests. I know some of the protesters not too long ago were arrested for trespassing, which I kind of get. They were on someone's property. But when someone you love was brutally murdered, was shot 8 times and then left to die, wasn't even offered help. No one checked on her to say, oh my God, what, are you okay? They just let her die. Then I would be mad too. I would be trespassing. But those people are going to jail, whereas her murderers are just still walking free. There's no body cam footage from this. Like I told you, the warrant is sketchy. The timeline is weird. As a matter of fact, they murdered someone, and they're going to get away with it because that's how it works. And if you go back and look, there's several websites. There are a couple Instagrams I follow now that are doing justice for the innocent and things like this, where they're putting together collections of mostly black people who have been murdered by police, people who are supposed to protect you. And it's really disheartening that someone who seemed like she was living her best life, she was an EMT, she was an essential worker in a pandemic, she was just trying to have a quiet night at home with her boyfriend, in bed watching a movie, and someone wakes her up to this nightmare, and then she's dead. It messes with your head. I don't understand it. The taco meat's done. I'm gonna cut some lettuce and some tomatoes. That took quicker than I thought it would. And I feel like I'm not saying enough, but there's so much information on this case that I've racked my brain. I feel like I've Googled it until I can't Google anymore. It's a lot. The world's a sad place. No one deserves to die, especially when you're supposed to be in the comfort of your own home, and you didn't do anything. Even the residents that they're saying is, what have you. I could be more prepared, Could be more prepared. Sorry, I'm talking about things. Even the presidents, I have lettuce. I'm just going to chop it up because I'm going to make kind of like a taco salad. It's just disheartening that someone who had so much potential in life is just, it's not here anymore. And it makes you think it happens every day. I definitely feel like this could have been handled in a better way. I will not for the life of me understand why this is something. And I guess it's the element of surprise to show up at someone's house at, after midnight to say, haha, we're here with a warrant, whatever. You could have also done it at 8 o'clock in the morning when it's daylight outside. And not when people are sleeping. I understand why they probably did it when people are sleeping. People's not expecting it, but they're also not expecting it at 8 o'clock in the morning when they're getting ready for work. I wouldn't be expecting it. I don't know anybody that would be expecting it, especially if you're not guilty of anything. And there's not been anything that's come forward to prove that Breonna or Kenneth, her boyfriend, were guilty of anything, except being home, I guess, for the most part. But something needs to be done. because it's going to keep happening, which is why the Black Lives Matter movement is so important right now. And I know a lot of people are just fighting it. Because, like, well, all lives matter. Do they? If all lives matter, then why are you so against people who are black saying their lives matter? No one is saying that your life doesn't matter. They're saying that, hey, we are threatened. We're getting murdered based on the color of our skin. No one's saying all lives don't matter. All lives do matter. It's just all lives can't matter if there are still people out there who are fearing their lives. Which is why it's so important that we stand with the Black Lives Matter movement, and with our LGBTQ and all of this stuff, because the world's a sad place, and if we don't band together, it's not going to get any better. I have these. I feel like I'm just rambling now. I feel like this could have went longer, but I didn't want it to be as long as the last one, because I felt like it took fucking forever. Just to watch it. It seems like it took a lot, and I don't want this to be something that gets wordy and overrun and things like that. And I think the point of the matter is, I'm angry. No one should have to fear for their life. No one. Especially for routine things. And I will go ahead and say this. I'm not going to fight with people in the comments over this. This is my opinion. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions. I do think something should be done to these 3 police officers. I was trying to see if there was anything else that I missed. The FBI is currently investigating this. Like I said, there's going to be a whole blog post to go with this one. I'm sad that it's come down to people being murdered for some people to realize that, hey, there's a problem. That's a lot of chips. These are whatever. It's come down to this, to where people are getting murdered. I wanted to get this one out because, like I said, every night when I go to bed, I think about this girl. I don't know her, never met her, knew nothing of her until this happened. But just the thought of you're laying down in bed at night to go to sleep, and some people don't wake up, or some people wake up and are dead 5 minutes later. Fucks with you. It does. Not going to sugarcoat it. And while me, as a white woman, I'm probably less likely to be murdered by police. Unless they just hate women, which happens. Then, you know, I don't have much to worry about. But I do have friends and family who don't have that same luxury, and know what it's like to have to live in that fear based on the color of their skin. And I feel like we're constantly having these conversations. I'm constantly fighting with people about this. I wanted to talk about it. So, and if I'm going to do this, I want to do it to bring justice and cheese, apparently, to those who need it. So, with that being said, if anybody watches this, if there's something that you want me to cover, I have an idea for another one in my head. I'm going to melt this cheese because that's who I am as a person. This is Mexican cheese, which I guess That's what it's called. Mexican style taco cheese. Just to kind of bring more awareness to this, and also educate myself, which I think everyone should do. Especially right now with everything going on. You should know what's going on. You should educate yourself. So if there's any that someone has suggestions on, please put those in the comments. I would love to hear suggestions. If there's food, that'd be dope too. But I do think at the end of the day, and with ending this, Breonna Taylor does deserve justice. I'm going to include a link to the petition for that in the blog notes, or in the notes for the video as well. Because at the end of the day, an innocent woman was brutally murdered in the safety of her own home. And if that doesn't turn your stomach to think of that could happen to anybody, to think, then I don't know what to say. But thank you for watching this. Thank you for letting me ramble incoherently for about 26 minutes. Have a great day, and please be safe and take care of each other, because it's a scary place out there.